interviews, and music from around the globe. This program was first broadcast yesterday evening.
Syria bleeds into Iraq today, Wednesday, May 29th. This is The World. I'm Marco Horman. Syria's civil war is having an impact next door in Iraq. The former U.S. ambassador in Baghdad says Washington needs to focus on Iraq first.
Long before Syria, let's try to get that back under control, and then see what we got. Because Syria is an entirely different dynamic, incredibly complicated.
Also on the program, an economically depressed town in Northern Ireland gets a facelift before it hosts the next G8 summit.
They have placed large photographs in the windows that if you were driving past and glanced out the window, it would look as if this was a thriving business.
And later, helping Chinese students adjust to college life in the U.S.
The goal of the class is to teach American culture. So things that they would just pick up watching TV.
I'm Marco Warman. This is The World. Between 400 and 500 people killed in the month of May alone in Iraq. You may think that sounds like a headline from a 2006 edition of this program, but it's not. That's Iraq's reality right now. The spike in violence is raising fears of an all-out sectarian war in the country, barely a year and a half since the last U.S. troops left Iraq. Veteran diplomat Ryan Crocker was the U.S. ambassador in Iraq from 2007 to 2009. He says the flames of sectarian conflict in Iraq are being stoked by, among other things, the violence in neighboring Syria.
The vast majority of the attacks during the month of May, as I understand it, have been generated by Al-Qaeda, the new alliance from hell between Jabhat al-Nusra in Syria and Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And because of the conflict in Syria and the rise of Jabhat al-Nusra, they have a lot more capability than they used to.
So is this an indication that the violence in Syria is seriously affecting the stability in Iraq?
I don't think there's any question about it. And it may not stop with Iraq. The Jordanians are having problems. The Turks are having problems. We have seen the spillover already into violence in Lebanon, both in the north, in Tripoli, and right in the east. Some rockets have gone into Hezbollah neighborhoods. So this has a very worrisome regional dimension.
I mean, you make it kind of sound like mentioning Iraq is quite an internal problem with these effects coming over from Syria. But, I mean, do you see a through line from the American occupation and what's happening now in Iraq? In other words, how much of the current violence in Iraq is Iraq?
What I see is, again, Al-Qaeda in Iraq playing a major role. Now, Al-Qaeda in Iraq developed following the 2003 invasion and spiked in its influence in the 06-07 period, as you noted, but then diminished as Iraqis themselves turned against Al-Qaeda and the coalition significantly damaged them. Well, they were never out of business completely. They were very badly weakened. The game changer, if you will, is the fight in Syria that has really empowered Al-Qaeda there, and that in turn has strengthened Al-Qaeda in Iraq.
Are you saying that Iraq was not ready in 2011 for the U.S. to leave?
You know, I'm not sure that military forces alone are capable of handling these kinds of terror attacks. It's more of an intelligence function. But that said, I certainly was a proponent for a continued, although reduced presence, precisely to provide some of these capabilities, including special ops, to the Iraqis. Yes, I wish it had been possible to get that agreement in 2010.